done this in a while. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Chris.
Well, it's good to see you. Hey, let's do this. Let's read this together. What are we? We are an open, loving, inclusive spiritual community, and we welcome you. Is there anyone here for the first time? Please raise your hand. We got some people over here. Welcome, welcome. And those over here. Yes, you've got a gift. And inside there's a little coupon. If you fill it out, it's not a coupon, it's actually like a welcome form. If you turn it into the bookstore, you would get a free book, complimentary book today. So let's go ahead and take some time. If everybody could stand up and say hello to your neighbors, meet the new people. Now that we've said hello, it's time to sing hello. Let's welcome Cheryl and Marina.
Good morning, CSL St. George. I bow to the divine in you. I feel your light, see it shining through. I am grateful you are here today. Good morning, friend, namaste. I bow to the joy in you. I feel your bliss, see it shining through. I am grateful you are here today. Good morning, friend, namaste. I bow to the love in you. I feel your heart, see it shining through. I am grateful you are here today. Good morning, friend, namaste. I bow to the truth in you. I feel your spark, see it shining through. I am grateful you are here today. Good morning, friend, namaste. Good morning, all, namaste.
Well, remember when you meet and greet just a few minutes ago? That was supposed to come now. But if you all know me, this is typical. So back to Cheryl and Marina.
We just invite you to settle into your chair, be in the space, be in the room, be with your friends, our CSL family here. Let go anything that may have happened this morning. and we'll just move into the meditative time of our service. I am a light, I am a light, I am a light in this world. I am a light, I am a light, I am a light in this world. And I shine, and I shine, and I shine so bright, and I shine. You are a light, you are a light, you are a light, you are a light in this world. You are a light, you are a light, you are a light in this world. And you shine, and you shine, and you shine so bright, and you shine, and you shine, and you shine so bright. We are a light. We are a light. We are a light. We are a light in this world. We are a light. We are a light. We are a light in this world. And we shine, and we shine, and we shine so bright, and we shine, and we shine, and we shine so bright. So we're talking about integrity today. And Reverend Joanne McFadden commented in the Science of Mind magazine this month, referring to one of Ernest Holmes' quotes in the Science of Mind, talking about being doers of the word and not hearers only. And she said, I think that it could be the case if we didn't make a conscious and consistent effort to demonstrate integrity in our daily lives. To me, this means that all of our actions demonstrate to the world the principles of truth that we believe. In essence, it is putting these principles into motion and spreading the light of truth by example. And I think sometimes the hardest thing for us to do is to get out of our own way, right? And to let the things go that we hold on to that trap us or that keep us behind that safety net, or a seeming safety net. Take out all your wasted honor, every little past frustration. Take out all your so-called problems, better put them in quotations. Say what you need to say, 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 say what you need to say. Walking like a one-man army, fighting with the shadows in your head, living on the same old moment, knowing you'd be better off instead if you could only say what you need to say, 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 Say what you need to say. 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 Have no fear for giving in. Have no fear for giving on. You better know that in the end, it's better to say too much than never to say what you need to say again. Even if your hands are shaking and your faith is broken, even as the eyes are closing, do it with a heart wide open, a wide heart. Say what you need to say. 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 Say what you need to say.
Okay, now I invite everyone to go within, and it's time for me to say what I need to say. And if I am being in my integrity, humor is always behind the face of Chris. So I enjoy you, and let's lightly go within as we know and recognize that that absolute divine intelligence, the vibe that is all in and through each and everything, everywhere. And as I recognize that oneness, I know I am one with it. I am one with that very divine essence of integrity, humor, joy, as I represent the Center for Spiritual Living. And as we move forward in service today, I recognize Joe Kovach and his family, and I honor them for coming and joining us today as we move into the divine word, the divine knowledge, the divine insight of service. So as we move forward, I simply release this into the law, knowing that everything that needs to be done is already done, and we say together, so it is. Does this sound familiar for all of you? All right, so it is my honor to welcome our guest speaker today, Joe Kovach. Joe is currently in Ministerial School. He is a practitioner with the Center for Spiritual Living, and he was in class with Mary and I. So he's gone on to Ministerial School. He does his life coaching is his profession, and it's my honor and my privilege to welcome him here to speak on integrity. Joe?
So the fact that I'm here and survived being with Mary and Chris, you know, miracles abound, right? You didn't burn me out. It's an honor to be here. Thank you. And I want to thank Reverend Laura Hallett as well. For those of you that are new, you're going to have a wonderful time. Come back and see her. She's an amazing, profound speaker. And I've noticed just since she's joined, because the last time I was here, she wasn't officially inaugurated yet. So, or welcome yet, I should say. And then I've been watching you guys grow on Facebook, and this is just a beautiful place to be. So I hope you guys realize, you know, we're kind of a gem in the desert. You guys, you too, and such a beautiful surrounding. So thank you for having me. I appreciate it. The last time I was here, I kind of went long. I was supposed to keep to 20 minutes. I think I went 40. So before I started figuring out what I was going to say, I looked up some wisdom on how to say a good speech, and George Burns had a secret. And he says, you got to open with a good opening, have a great closing, and the key to success is keeping those two as short as possible together. So I'm going to work that magic that happened today. So the word today, our teaching today, is integrity. And we've heard many different definitions of that, and just to share with you, the one on there now comes from Merriam-Webster. The quality or state of being, complete or undivided. Completeness. And I think this matches perfectly with the ideas of science of mind. And I know there's some new people. Raise your hand if you're brand new, please, just so I know. I want to make sure that we're talking to us so everybody can hear us. And that's the beautiful thing, thank you, about this teaching, is that you're going to receive it at the level that you are at. And that's beautiful. So this definition lines up with science of mind teaching, first of all, because it is about completeness and wholeness. And we believe that we are perfect, whole, and complete as divine spiritual beings living in human presence here. We also understand that as the universal individualizes, particularizes, that it flows through to and as each individual. So therefore, each one of us is living a life of an expressed integrity from the whole. Let me say that again. Each person here is living an individualized life through and as the whole. That which we call God, that which we call spirit, in and of itself is perfect, whole, and complete. And we are just but a kind of a dot in the infinite circle. Yet we are a precious dot. We are a dot that this circle cannot be without, or it would be incomplete. And we know that that can't happen. And also that we demonstrate integrity through the practices, through our own character. Who are we being in the moment? Are we being someone of friendship? Are we being someone that has honesty within them, of integrity, being forthright? That's what we learn within the principles and the teachings of science of mind, to be in integrity with that. And yet we also know, because we're human and we're living a human experience, through our own volition, through our own free will, that we have the power, in a sense, to stray off of integrity, to, in a sense, maybe even feel like we've blocked integrity and therefore are not part of that which is whole. In other words, we feel separate from that which we call God. And how do we know this? Well, we know that it shows up in our lives as effects, as circumstances, as challenges, as troubles. Okay, so we're going to talk today about integrity, and some of this stuff, in ministers, they give around each month and they give you things to talk about, ideas. And as I was going through the different quotes, I was like, these are all excellent quotes. So I'm going to warn you ahead of time, in a sense, there's going to be a lot of words. I'm just going to ask you to be open to receiving them, because the quotes are not taken from Science of the Mind. They're taken from some of his other more, I would say more powerful, but just as powerful books. In other words, they were transcripts of some of the talks that he gave. And so, again, ask you to be open to listening to the vibration or to the, whatever comes into your awareness, that will be perfect for you. So let me begin with this first quote. And it comes from a book called Man's Relationship to the Spiritual Universe. It says, he says, Ernest Holmes, the difficulty is solved when we realize that all creation is an effect. It is real enough, as real as it's supposed to be. As you look about you, the mountain is the mountain, the molehill is the molehill, the dust storm is the dust storm. But they are all effects. As you enter your garden and you observe the bamboo tree, the grapefruit, and many other variations of form, you see each is rooted in one creative soil. Each is individualizing out of this creative soil that which is unique. And that's what each one of us is doing through our own lives. And yet, we understand through this, he says, that the type maintains its integrity always. The type maintains its integrity always. So no matter who you are being in the moment, you are of integrity. Right? The apple tree has everything it needs to be the apple tree. It is always in integrity. It will not be anything else. You won't get pears from an apple tree. Right? We like to keep this teaching simple. So therefore, how could you ever do anything that is outside of perfection in your life? How can technically any decision we make, if we are in the mindset, in the consciousness of integrity, how could it be anything separate than God? It's not. It's perfectly within and whole of what we call God and Spirit. Again, one more time, the type maintains its integrity always. He continues, he says, we observe in creation an atomic intelligence, then a simple consciousness, after which comes a personal consciousness, then a cosmic consciousness. As we watch this transition from the atomic to the simple, to the personal, and to finally the cosmic, we find that we are merely going up a scale of unity. What is unity? Oneness, wholeness, completeness. That this spirit is not something apart from matter, so-called, but is something that is working through matter. The potential possibility, which we call the highest and the lowest, is inherent in everything. Think about that. And so when I thought of this, I'm thinking, right away, I was doing this as I was reading this, right? You got the atomic, the smallest particles that we're aware of, quarks, whatever you want to call them. And then we talk about this idea up here of godliness, of cosmic consciousness. And then how can I individualize that? And right away, my mind thought, well, let's turn this longitudinally into a lifetime. You have the baby, which is born perfect, whole, and complete in whatever it needs for its journey. And then it continues to shift. And if you think about it, shift in consciousness from, in a sense, just being cared for. And as it grows, it lives a full natural life. And by the time it's what we call an old, elderly, wise person, it has gone through stages, and yet through each stage, the teenage years, the adolescence, the 20s, the 30s, and so on, it is perfect and in integrity and has everything it needs along that way. And yet it would be incomplete to skip a stage, wouldn't it? We're not going to go from the particle stage all the way to the cosmic right away because there's something missing in the middle. And yet, I say missing, but it's not. It's this journey that we're on. And so, again, whether we're thinking about it this way, from high to low, it's all that circle that Holmes, he says, God is the circle with whose center point is everywhere and circumference is nowhere. It's just all God. And it's kind of so simple, we overlook that simple fact, that it's just all God. Therefore, it is all in integrity. And finally, he says, and this is the key to this long-winded conversation right here, is, go ahead and put the slide up for me, please. Thank you. Perfect there. The bottom part here, that which we are looking for, we are looking with and at. Read that again. That which we are looking for, we're looking with and at. We are that which we are seeking. Heaven is lost merely in the lack of a perception of harmony. And hell is a phantom abode of our morbid imaginations. Therefore, each is a state of consciousness. So if we find ourselves, and I like Les Brown, the inspirational talker, he says, if you find yourself walking through hell, don't stop and pitch a tent, just keep walking. Right? Too many of us want to sit around and go, look how bad this is. Wow. How bad could it be? Chris, how bad could it be? How bad is it in your life? And then we just pitch and we stay there and we wonder why it's still, now we don't want it on one level, but in order to see heaven, we have to open ourselves up and recognizing that, wait a minute, even in this, wherever you are, there is integrity. There is the wholeness of the situation. And therefore, again, it comes back to our volition. What are we open? What are we choosing to see in our lives? And really, this science of mind teaching trains us, and that's why we call ourselves practitioners. And whether you choose to be or not, we are all practitioners. Right? We are all creating by design or by default. Habit, unawares, or habit awares. That is how our life unfolds. Right? And that's a beautiful blessing, as we're going to find out in a little bit here. So I want to make sure that I got all the points on this beautiful slide here. Yes. So a couple things more, actually. That the uniqueness of each individualized expression, and let's just talk about our individual lives. It says, is forever sustained, yet never diminishes the integrity of the whole. So therefore, no matter how, quote, unquote, bad I mess up my life, is spirit ever affected? No. Because it has all it needs. It is all it needs. So therefore, there is perfection even when I consider my perception of being imperfect. That's what we call miracles in a sense, that God takes something in a sense broken, that we believe is broken, and shows us truly that it is whole. Sometimes it is simply just time that heals, but in the end, it's going to be our consciousness, our thoughts, of seeing it in a different way. Death is an interesting topic, And some people are able to see death simply as what it is, and what we choose to believe, let me say that way, which is it's a transition. That we are here living a temporary life, and we're going to get the best out of it. And we can let that go and see it in the wonder and awe as much as we see birth. And yet some people get hung up on that. And usually that's a perception because they fear. Right? Ernest Holmes always says you could choose fear or love, either way. But if we're going to be in integrity, it must be love. And yet, even if you're in fear, everything you need is still there present with you. So this next quote I want to share with you comes from a different book, and it's called the Ernest Holmes Papers. And I say these to you because I love you. Hopefully, I don't know if you have them in there, but get them. This is one of the blessings of Ministerial School is I'm open to so many different writings and books of not only Ernest Holmes, but like-minded thinkers. And this book is the Ernest Holmes Papers, a collection of 3 inspirational classics. And in the end, it's called Ideas of Power. I just got done reading this book. And again, it's transcripts of his speeches, and they're phenomenal. So he says this. I'm going to breathe. He says, "Get still. Be quiet. Still the turmoil of the outer sense. Be still and know. You are the one you have been looking for. You are going to have to do it before you can make a good treatment. Why? Because we either affirm or we deny. We either believe in our own word or else we don't. Who can make us believe in our own word? Nobody but ourselves." I'll flip to that so you can see that now. We are the ones that we've been looking for. For if everything is spirit, then we must be spirit. And it's kind of like the analogy of the fish swimming in the ocean looking for the water. You're in it. You are it. And you are expressing it whether you know it or not. And yet along this line of unity, we're just simply expressing it in the best way that we know how, where we're at. That's all we can do. I can't express it on a cosmic level because I don't have that right in this moment. I'm not aware of it. I have it. I'm not aware of it. And simply by continuing to say that I'm aware of it, will begin to align, and things will show up in my life to show that. That is how when we talk about a treatment, we're talking about the idea that what our thoughts become things. And if we don't like the things showing up, what do? Change the thought. And change the emotion behind the thought. We're going to get into that a little bit too. 2 things go hand in hand. So this is important. And this part, this is the next quote I didn't leave up there. He just says basically that it's like a garden. And the person who uses these principles the most effectively are the ones who use it and deeply inwardly, I should say, are convinced of a simplicity and an integrity of the universe. So when I go out to plant a garden, I walk away and I leave it, he says. And I know something is going to make it grow. Now, we are not that which makes it grow. We are the observers. As Thomas Troward says, we are divine distributors. How about that one? We are distributing the divine in and through and as our life. That's a pretty powerful statement and a big responsibility if we choose to accept it. Big in the sense to me of exciting. Wait, I get to take all that is, in a sense, harness it, know it's there, and express that in the loving way, the best loving way that I know how. And I want to make sure that I'm doing that because I can only see and receive that which I am open to. So that's one of the things I want to go, one of the reasons why I want to go deep in this teaching is simply because I want to be open to the absolute most magnificence in this life that I can. And that includes finding my own faults, finding my own consciousness of lack, however that shows up. You know, there's that Pandora's box, and I just jump right in because I would rather know and, in a sense, move through it than pitch a tent in hell. Right? And I look back now and realize, particularly through, I can say, my teenage years, and most of us can raise our hands and go, wow, now I know why that all happened. I kept blaming the thing out there. But I can't change that thing out there without being in integrity and changing my consciousness from within. So if I plant apple seeds, I'm going to get apple trees. And yet, here's the key. Just because I've been planting apple seeds for so long doesn't mean they're always going to come, because if for a minute I lose my consciousness, right, I forget about the responsibility of it, all of a sudden the weeds are going to grow. And I'm going to say, well, Sharon, what did you do? You're putting weeds in my garden. It's your fault. You came at me with so-and-so. Right? But these principles, if we practice them, will bring us back to the integrity of realizing, wait a minute, those are my weeds. And we don't have to even spend time plucking the weeds, right? What do? We shift our gaze onto what it is that we want. So that's a powerful awareness, because in understanding what we don't like, if we're aware, we use that for change to walk in the direction that we would like, to create in the area that we would like. So he says, this is Ernest Holmes continuing, but if there is an integrity within me, shall I not have the patience and the courage and the fortitude at long last to look up to the face of eternal life in which I live and say, God, I thank you that I gave birth to every trouble I ever had, every sadness and every fear. We celebrate that because that is a powerful awareness. You can go ahead and flip to it now so you can see it. Why? Because we get to create this life experience. Again, the universe will always say what to what we have to say and think. Yes. So if Trump is the devil, yes, and that will be my experience. And I don't have enough money to do this, and that is my experience. And it's all her fault or his fault or this traffic or whatever it may be. Yet we have the power to choose. What a blessing. And the integrity of the universe is never altered by our use of it. I remember Wayne Dyer, who I love, and he would give the idea that you can go to this level of spirit with a truckload and take out truckloads every single day. Or you can take a thimble. It's your choice. And it's not about greed, it's what are you ready to use? What are you ready to participate in and as? Well, if it's all that, I'm going to take as much as I can handle and see where that lines me, and then line it up, see the things I like, just like a buffet, and the things I don't like, and I'm going to continue to look towards the things I like, and allow that to unfold, and know that I am a divine distributor, that it's all flowing to and as me. I'm not the one in the sense of creating all of it. I'm directing my attention to either seeing things in integrity, of wholeness, of completeness, or I'm going to see myself as separate. I'm going to see, and then that's really a feeling of disempowerment. When I feel I have no power, no control, right? That's a prisoner within our own mind. That is, for me, the definition of hell. Awesome. So we are integral to the whole. The pieces that compose the universe are always in flux, ever unfolding, ever evolving and adjusting, and yet never diminished. So let's sum up a little bit here, because there's a lot of words, and I like to simplify things so we are able to take what is perfect for us in the here and now. So one of the my suggestions is the idea of congruency. That the demonstration of our integrity is the arrangement of all the parts. Now, I just grabbed a piece of my son's adolescence there. All the parts. See, it never leaves us, does it? It's in integrity. And so the whole is strengthened by each. So what I take from this idea of congruency with the idea of integrity is we may be living in integrity in certain aspects of our life. And yet in other ones, maybe not so much, and yet that is still the all that we are. So we accept all of who we are. So I maybe am struggling with a personal relationship, okay, I'm having trouble in trust, and yet in certain areas I manifest really, really well. Beauty and prosperity and abundance and health. And that is okay. That is perfect, right where I'm at. And that it's embracing an embodiment, the wholeness, in order to feel completeness. So in other words, until we choose to really believe that it's all available to us, we are in a sense holding ourselves back from experiencing a magnificent and wonderful life. We're doing that. Remember, we are the ones we're looking for to save ourselves. The second thing I'd like you to summarize is that we are called to grow large enough to embrace it all. So in other words, I believe, and these teachings state, that whatever is showing up in our lives is for our own personal unfoldment. Again, magically, wherever we're at, it's going to be perfect. So that which we seem as challenging is really a gift for us to grow. Chris, the analogy you were talking about during meditation, that if you hear an outside distraction, you have a choice. You can see it as, why doesn't that person be quiet, or they're snoring loud, or I can hear their stomach, or whatever. Or we can go deeper. As he said, it's a call to go deeper, and in deeper, the idea of deeper consciousness, of oneness, of integrity. Whereas I've learned through another teacher that we just, like you said, just incorporate that sound. That sound was supposed to be there for me for a reason, and I'm just open to it, knowing that everything's unfolding perfectly. And yet, I'm honest. I'm authentic with myself. In the beginning, it's annoying. I'm going to work on it not being annoying so much, but I'm open to that now. And just being open, you open the door, and when we open the door, newness will walk in every single time. And finally, that integrity is like the law of attraction. It magnetically attracts. So the more we become in alignment consciously with the idea of being whole, perfect, and complete, the more that will show up in our lives. I don't believe that life has to be difficult at all. As a matter of fact, I just saw somebody, I don't remember his name, on Facebook. And he's this business guy, and he was saying, you know what? I know to be like no one else in saying that I don't believe you have to work hard and struggle to be successful. Right? That you know your own stuff. Do your own stuff. Do what you know. Do that. But don't say, I have to work hard. And I get where that came from, because there was a time when that was, how it was, in a sense, in reality at the time. You had to work hard to earn a living, and things were, in a sense, a struggle. And yet, within all that, there were always those people that were the glue that always saw everything as working out perfectly. The Great Depression that, for me, my grandparents lived through, and the wars and so on that my parents lived through, they saw it as a struggle, and yet they also looked back fondly on some of those years because they found the blessings within it. They found the integrity within that moment, too. They laugh now about saving their tin foil, which was actually tin foil, right? Back in the day, they had to preserve the resources. When it was happening, he couldn't understand it. He hated it. He wanted to throw it away. It's junk. And now he understands the lessons that his parents taught him, the lessons that our lives are teaching each one of us uniquely, wholly, perfectly. Okay, go ahead. We got that up perfectly. So I'm going to share this with you. And I practice this on my wife, and so I'm going to make sure that I do this in a way that hopefully you can get it where you're at. So there was a master, Yoda. And one day the master asked, what, in your opinion, is the most important of all spiritual questions? He asked his students. He got many answers. Does God exist? Who is God? What is the path to God? What's the best path to God? And is there an afterlife? Nope, said the master. The most important question is, who am I? The disciples got some idea of what he was hinting at when they overheard him talking to a preacher. The master says to the preacher, so then, according to you, when you die, your soul will be in heaven? The preacher says yes. And the master asks, and your body will be in the grave? And the preacher says yes. And the master asks him, then where, may I ask, will you be? Right? So we are not just one aspect. We're not just the body. We're not just the spirit. We're all of it. The in-between, as they say, we're the note being played, and we're the space between the notes, because without the space, there's no music. Okay? So I know it's kind of a deep lesson, but something for you to ponder, and I know you're going to get it right where you're at. Right? So the most simply way I can sum up this last 20 minutes is this. God is, I am, and so it is. The shortest prayer we know. You are God in expression. Thank you so much for your time. We're going to move into prayer. So let us just sit comfortably in our chairs, knowing that we are absolutely perfect, whole, and complete. Divine expressions of the Most High, knowing that Spirit is all, acting as all, expressing through all perfectly. I know this life is love. I know this life is joy. I know this life is absolutely magnificently unfolding for each person here and now. That there is no separation between anything and any non-thing, that there is only love, and I choose to see that love now. It is expressing itself in my life now. It is expressing itself through CSL St. George now in its beautiful unfolding. This has been a magnificent day, and it's just getting started. It's a brand new baby day, and I know that integrity abounds, that each person here today is lovely, guided to a great new expression, to a great new unfolding of the love in their life. It happens with ease, it happens with grace, and it is fun. And so it is.
So it is.
Namaste.
The love of God is in my life. I am loved. I am strong. The strength of God is in my life. I am strong. I am healed. The life of God is in my life. I am healed. I am blessed. The gifts of God are in my life. I am blessed. The gifts of God. The gifts of God are in my life. I am blessed.
All right, yes, okay. It's time in our service for our offering. I invite you, everyone, to take out their gift. And hold it to your heart. And repeat after me. Divine love through me.
Divine love through me
Blesses and multiplies.
blesses and multiplies
All that I am.
all that I am,
All that I give.
all that I give,
And all that I receive.
and all that I receive.
I am prosperous now.
I am prosperous now. All good, holy, holy. All good, holy, holy. All in my mind, in my heart, in my soul. Let me know all is good, holy, holy. All love, holy, holy. All love, all good, holy, holy. All good, holy, holy. All in my mind, in my heart, in my soul. Let me know all is good, holy, holy.
As we know and we are grateful for these gifts, we know that they come into the center and they move into producing great and magnificent wonder. As we take these ideas and move into the world and the community outside our doors. So in gratitude, I bless these gifts. And so it is.
So it is.
We're going to sing All One. Please join us. All one, holy, holy. All one, holy, holy. All in my mind, in my heart, in my soul. Let me know all is one, holy, holy.
Announcements. So funny. When the minister's away, we get the privilege of leading service. And you think it's really easy. You think, oh, I know how it goes. I'm there every Sunday. Until you get here and it's like, what's next? So we do know that now is time for the announcements. And they're pretty easy because we can just follow through by the slides. Centers for Spiritual Living is having its virtual convention, and this center has purchased the ticket, so we're going to be simulcasting it here on this TV. So we invite everyone to join us. And if you next slide, and then there's a detailed description of the calendar of events. So I think the way we're going to do it, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that we're just going to sort of have the doors open, and if something works for you, you can just come in and sit down, have a seat. However, Tuesday is music night. Now, how many of you have been to a Centers for Spiritual Living music jam or concert? It's the bomb. So they will have it on stage, so they'll be like up here singing, and we'll have the music going through, so we can all just enjoy the concert like we're really there. So you're all invited, so just remember, Tuesday 6 to 9 is the music concert. And then next, and Rona Yellow Rose will be here in concert on March 9th, 6:30 to 8 p.m. I have heard amazing with a capital A, amazing things about this concert. I've got some information here. Let me see if I can read what it is. It's gone. Here it is. I found it. Let's see. Thanks. The tickets are $15, March 9th, 6:30 to 8 p.m. And it says to join us for a magical, beautiful evening of Rona Yellow Robe. She's the 2014-2016 Native American Music Awards Flutist of the Year, or Flautist of the Year. Rona Yellow Robe was born and raised in Havre, Montana, yeah. Havre, Montana, and is an enrolled member of the Chippewa Cree tribe of Rocky Boy, Montana. Rona is known for her powerful vocal ability, Native American flute style, and heartfelt presence. She picked up her first flute in 2002 and has been on a musical and spiritual journey ever since. It is by playing the Native American flute, which she refers to as her other voice, that she has become comfortable sharing with all audiences many aspects of her life which are personal and meaningful to her. Rona's music is created with the intention to inspire, uplift, and to fill the listener with peace, hope, happiness, and visions of joy, love, and prosperity. So again, join us for that.
And that'll be here?
Yes, in concert. And part of the proceeds will go to our center for that concert. Same for this event too. It's a sound healing with Kate Photopoulos. What are these words for me today? Kate Fotopoulos and Don Carpenter from Grand Junction, Colorado. The beauty of sound healing is the frequencies of the bowls bypass the rational, logical, linear mind and go straight to the level of cellular vibrations where real transformation can happen without the interference of what we've been telling ourselves is true. So they invite us to come experience these beautiful bowls and feel the shift you can make in just a short time. The general admission will be $20, and for that seniors, military, anybody who's in service, it will be $15. And that also goes to, part of the proceeds will go to our center as a fundraiser. And our annual membership meeting is Sunday, March 17th from 1 to 3 p.m. For new people, for people that have been here a while, a year's gone past, or gone by now, and we've begun to build this center, and we really, really have seen the magnificent and the changes that have happened. So we invite you to be a part of this center and come and be with us for the annual meeting. And
we're having baked potatoes, so that's what the sign-up sheet for toppings is about. There's a sign-up sheet back there for all different kinds of toppings.
Oh, cool. Didn't know that one. So yeah, definitely be there, because we're changing, and we want everyone. I don't know if you remember and how important it was, is that we all collectively are creating a center. It's not one person, it's not Reverend Laura, it's not Sharon, it's not me, it's all of us, and this is our chance to be a part of that. Oh, and this is the Science of Mind discussion group. This is a group that we formed on Mondays. It's been going really, really, really well. Our groups are tight. We have a lot of really good dialogue. It's led by myself and Gwen, and then Sue is going to be also participating in it maybe tomorrow. And we discuss what we've heard here today. So we usually say, is what she say? But now it's what he say? So at the first part of the meeting we'll sort of just talk about what Joe was talking about with us, and how you feel, or what you didn't understand, or what may have been a little bit confusing with your background or whatever, and that's the time that we do those. And then we do the Science of Mind magazine daily affirmation conversation as well. And the book of the month study will not be held this week due to the convention online. So
Because we'll be at the concert.
yes.
Yep.
Dancing right here. And the Meditation and More Wednesday service from 7 to 8 has been discontinued until further notice. It'll rebirth itself in its time. So anyway, and this is a little mistake because that was last week. But now, this coming week, Reverend Laura's office hours are Tuesday from 1 to 5, Wednesday and Thursday from 1 to 5. So you can just stop in, especially if you're new. If you're heavy-hearted or something's just weighing on you, just come in and have a chat with Reverend Laura. It's real nice. And after service, this is our little bookstore. You'll find Sue will be in there greeting you, and for our new guests, remember to fill out the little guest registration card for a book that you can pick out in there. And I will be holding personal prayer in the little room over there. And coffees and goodies are in this room right here. And if you'd like to contribute any goodies in the future that you want to bring on Sundays, who do we? Just bring them.
Just bring them in.
Yeah.
Bring them, we'll eat them. Just bring them in.
All right, the closing affirmation. Repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening right now.
Something wonderful is happening right now.
It's this thing called life.
It's this thing called life.
Life is in my mind.
Life is in my mind.
Life is in my body.
Life is in my body.
Life is in my finances.
Life is in my finances.
I think it.
I think it.
I feel it.
I feel it.
I accept it.
I accept it.
Just the way that it is.
Just the way it is.
And just the way it will be.
And just the way it will be.
Or something like that.
Or something like that.
I have my cheat sheet over there.
We might get lost during service, but we do know how to end, right?
Yes, this is the song.
It's a new day. Today is a new life. On my way. The doubts, they are no match for me. I'll take my faith and fly. choose to grow, yes, I choose to thrive. This longing will not be denied. It's a new day, today is a new life, my way. The doubts, they are no match for me. I'll take my faith and fly because I know that I am creating my own destiny. Right here, right now, I claim that I am whole. There is nothing else that I need to know. So I affirm my worth, yes, I'm deserving of God's goodness abounding in love. It's a new day, today is a new life, my way.